How's it going, Tristan? This is your Uncle Matt. Just wanted to showcase a little bit about the double end bag. Your dad, John, has told me that you are getting into boxing and MMA, which is awesome. I myself am 3.5 years into Kung Fu. It's Kung Fu Sansu. And we do a whole bunch of different stuff. We do like stick, knife fighting, we do like eskrima. This is kind of just a makeshift little workout area that I've got going on, but we also do some boxing. And I just invested in this double end bag probably, a few weeks ago. And it's probably one of the most fun exercise pieces of equipment that I have, and I wanted to show you some basics. First things first, how to make a fist, because a lot of people don't place importance on proper fist making. So here's the process. Hold your hand up and make a fist. No, it's not that simple. It is, but you need to train yourself to know kind of where your thumb is, because when I used to make a fist, like right from the very beginning, well, guess what? My thumb would keep getting jammed, and my instructor, my Sifu, was like, stop doing that. You got to tuck your thumb underneath here. And a lot of people hold, their fist differently, but this is kind of the best way to make sure that when you hit, it's not going to provide anything to shear off or to get jammed up and potentially broken. Now, another thing about the physiology of your fist is that it kind of has different slopes along the knuckles. So you're going to be hitting with this side of your fist. Now for me, these three knuckles are a little bit more at a even plane rather than these two knuckles. So you kind of look at your fist and decide which makes sense for you. And so if you have practice punching, maybe you deliver most of your power from these two knuckles. If they line up very well and they're pretty substantial, then go for that. Mine, additionally, how I punch, I tend to kind of punch more on, these bottom three knuckles. Now, it doesn't really matter, but if you end up using this as your punching surface, you just got to make sure that you're accurate because these knuckles tend to shear. So if you have something, I don't know, like a face, and you punch it, it's going to shear by. Whereas if you hit with these two knuckles and you punch, even if it shears, it's still going to catch these other knuckles. So each has their kind of benefit. For me, it just feels more natural. Now, when you're hitting the bag, heavy bag specifically, wear gloves. On the double end bag, because it's kind of a light, more speed bag feel, it's your option. I actually have ordered a pair of light MMA style boxing gloves, and they have like 8 ounces or something even less than that. But it's just padding to make sure that these little ribs don't get your fist. So that's kind of making a fist. Next is hands placement. So as you're boxing, you want to make sure your hands are kind of right at your face, not out here, because if your hands get punched, your fists are going to punch yourself. So just keep them close here if you're kind of doing the boxing dynamic. I have a Kung Fu kind of dynamic, so I keep my hands open and kind of at an outside 90 to kind of brace for any impact, but it's also just very disarming. It's like, hey, stop, don't, and like finger whip. I do a lot more things that I don't necessarily practice on this. So because we're talking about this double end bag, I'm going to be focusing mostly on techniques to help you train target acquisition, speed, timing. All three of those things are super important when fighting or boxing or doing MMA. And so this bag is really good for developing those attributes. Let's talk about breath now. So when you are boxing to get the most power out of your strikes, you really want to exhale with your diaphragm. So breathing is important. Getting it so that it clenches your muscles right there at that last moment helps deliver more power. Now stance, as I am going to be delivering a jab, I want to be up most of my weight on my front foot, kind of maybe 60-40 or 70-30. But I want that back foot mostly for support because I'm going to be, moving around, and I want to keep it nice and nimble to be able to move around. But when I do a jab, I want to be able to change my stance so that it's delivering a little bit more power. Also, when you do a jab, if I don't move back like that, I can get this much range. But if I move back, it goes a little bit further. So you get a little bit more range. And most of your power in your punches don't come from your fist. It comes from like your shoulder, and twisting. So your abs also play a good deal of role in that. But you want to be nimble. You want to be on your feet. You want to, make sure you're able to kind of get out of the way of other people's counters. And so that's really what we're trying to practice. So that's kind of the stance with your jab. And then as you do like a cross, which is, that's the jab, your cross is coming across your body. And it's like the same side as your back foot. So when you punch with your right hand and you have a left lead, that is your cross. If you're in a right lead and you do right jab, then it's a left cross. So a good combo, just do a bunch of jabs, man. Like combo breaker! Then there's what I like is the jab cross hook. Hooks are kind of difficult on the double end bag because it's going all over the place.
You can't touch this.
So if I do a jab cross hook, I got to really wait for it. So there is a Slavic jab, which is pretty cool. It helps for like my kung fu. When I do a jab, if it's probing, someone who gets a jab in their face, they're going to raise their hands up. All right? So that hook, if it comes right over top of the hands, you're going to be punching their hands. So you want to clear their hands away. So when you do this jab, Slavic jab, it's kind of like a figure eight. So you do your jab, and then you follow it up. You kind of pivot at the elbow, and then deliver a hammer fist, backhand hammer fist. So you and that second move is just to clear those hands away. This one's a little bit harder to do on the double end bag. Timing.
You missed that one.
Basically crashing through with all these moves. So it's like 1 and 2. The next one is just getting down with it, man. You gotta practice. You gotta practice a ton. With this, no gloves is really actually better. Helps you get better at, just target acquisition, feeling what it feels like. Obviously, this is pretty light, so it doesn't hurt your hands too much. But these are heavy gloves. It's a lot easier when you put on gloves. Whew. All right, Tristan. That's about it.